It's 9 o'clock. This is the regular meeting of Mills County Commissioners Court, Monday, February 14th. Present in the courtroom, we have the entire court, Commissioner Wright, Commissioner Guerin, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Parkin, and myself, Ed Smith. So with that, we are legally a quorum. We also have the county treasurer and the county district clerk. And with that, if you would join me in standing for the pledge and the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes. Bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, bless this day that you have granted us. Father, be with us as we do the business of Mills County. Father, thank you for everything that you have given us and everything that you will give us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Judge, can I say something right quick?
Yes.
So just to the audience, we have new microphones up here. So if y'all hear something, let us know. So we've got new mics. So if we can't hear us or whatever, we can adjust it. Okay. Thank y'all. Okay, Judge.
Okay. And you might confirm that with Jackie also remotely, unless you've already done that.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, number 2, is review and act on the minutes of January 24th and 31st. Let's start with the 24th. Has the court had the opportunity to review these? Are there any comments or corrections?
Yes, I have a correction. Jed made it notice to me. It's on the second page of the 24th, where it says Precinct 4 report. That should be Robbie Hurst, not Ryan. Ryan's his brother. And I'm not giving a paycheck to Ryan.
Okay.
And Robbie doesn't want to share, so.
Got it.
Thank you, Jed, for catching that. So, okay.
Any other comments on the minutes of January 24th?
I move we approve them with that one exception.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Guerin to approve with correction. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Wright. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes of the 24th are approved. Now, we had a special meeting on January 31st. The minutes are in your package. Any comments or corrections?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of January the 31st as written.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes of January 31st. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Parkin. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's approved. Okay, audience with individuals. Ms. Scott, did we have anyone sign up to speak? Okay, then we will, no audience with individuals. The consent agenda. This is our first meeting of the month, and we have monthly reports in here. The county treasurer's report, which I believe was sent electronically, accounts payable and payroll, report from MCAD. The appraisal district report looks a little different this month. That's a one-time issue. We have reports from the county clerk and district clerk offices of fines and fee collections. We have, ma'am.
Hi, we had a fee card change that came through Commissioner's Court. It looks like some of the entries were not coded correctly. This is going through LGS and through our office and through Tyler Technologies, which is our e-filing system. The treasurer's pointed out that some of the GL codes don't seem to be matching up. We'll be working on that this week to clean it up. So that report, if the court would like for it to be represented when it's corrected, we can.
Well, it changed the gross dollar amount or merely which GL code it goes
It'll
into?
just change the GL codes and where it goes.
No, I don't think, I believe the court's concern is the dollars collected as opposed to the coding. We have a report here from the monthly report from the sheriff's office. Might point out that the EMS calls look quite a bit higher than usual. The report from the Justice of the Peace Department, this office, the judge's office, which is basically senior center rental and septic permits, and the monthly EMS call report, followed by the monthly Veterans Service Officer report, which is in the usual detail. And at the bottom, it's 44 veterans, 44 hours spent on, read that right, 22 different veteran matters. Those are the monthly reports in the consent agenda. I do want to point out on the accounts payable report, there's a couple of items that are highlighted on the first page under the credit card service center. This relates to a comment in the management letter we've received from the auditor. It's still a draft, so it's not reported yet to the court. But one of the findings was they were seeing credit card receipts, credit card payments not documented by receipts. So the treasurer and I talked about it, and at least for a while, we're going to highlight on the payables report in yellow, so you can see the receipts that we're approving in the payables that were not credit card payments that we're approving in the payables that were not supported by receipts. And in this case, it's a couple of postage bills at the post office. So with that overview on the consent agenda, are there any questions or comments or a motion?
On council payable, I have a quick question. if you don't mind.
Yes, go right ahead.
In precinct 3, the $10,000. What is that?
That's for half purchase of the truck.
And then same thing in precinct 4.
Yes, sir.
Both of us both had the 10,000 for a freight line. I didn't know what it.
So you guys went together to buy a vehicle that you're going to share between the two precincts.
Yeah, or whoever
Sure.
needs it.
Yeah.
The whole county can use it, but we're using our funds and not the road and bridge funds.
Does that
This
answer?
is y'all's equipment.
Well, it's the county's equipment, but it's the financing part is coming out of
It-
precinct 3 and precinct 4.
It came from the budget of those two precincts.
It will not affect the road and bridge money at all.
Right, that's what I was wondering about, because y'all talked about buying a truck and for what, 35 or 40,000, whatever it was. And when I saw this, I didn't know what it was, really what it was for right now. What is that, a haul truck or just says freight?
I mean, we'll be using it with belly down.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
Yes, it is a haul truck. It's a 2000 and what brand it?
It says 2000.
2002 Freightliner. Nice truck, been overhauled, new motor, new transmission already in it. It was kind of, in a way, it's kind of a godsend. Dale was looking for something to fix that truck, that Mack truck that's down with the motor. And he looked at a Mack and it was just terrible. And the guy showing it says, well, if you are looking for a truck, I'm getting out of the business. He hadn't even had it on the market yet. And so Dale drove to May, Texas and looked at the truck and the guy had to clean it up. He said, Dale, when he pulled up there, the hood was up and all this stuff was leaning against him. Like, man, this is worse than what I just looked at. But it started right up. We test drove it. I went back and test drove it with my guys and everybody. It's pretty clean.
And y'all want to share it?
And we're going to share it. Yes, sir.
Now, it does have, I didn't really care for that, but it does have a small sleeper on it. It's not a big one. but.
3 foot, yeah.
3-foot sleeper, but for $20,000 and a motor that's got 13,000 miles on it. Anytime you're buying something that used, you're taking a chance. But I think the motor and their transmission's been rebuilt. I think in
I just wondered about it. That's all I had.
Any other questions on the payables? What about now on the entirety of the consent agendas? Are there any other areas that people want to ask about, or may we have a
I don't
motion?
have anything, Joe. I move we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion from Commissioner Guerin, second from Commissioner Wright on approval of the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have approved the consent agenda. The next item on the agenda and the action item is number 4. This is accept Exhibit D to the Pretty Wind Abatement Agreement of November 2020. The abatement agreement had a number of referenced exhibits. The Exhibit D was to be a depiction of the improvements installed and the types of improvements. At the time the agreement was entered into, it was before the project was built, so the map we had showed sites and alternate sites. Here, this is a final map I propose that it be accepted as Exhibit D, showing the actual turbine locations, the type of turbine, this 4.8 megawatt, and the location of the operation and mechanics, operation and mechanical building and the substation.
Does precinct 2 and 3 have any questions on this?
Looks good to me.
I haven't driven it, so I wouldn't know.
I've got it laid out about like it is.
Well, I would move the acceptance of Exhibit D to the abatement agreement of the court approved November 25th, 2020.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda is action on there's a proposed resolution regarding inmate medical payments. We have Ebony Jackson on Zoom. Ms. Jackson is with Bell County Indigent Health. Mills County contracts with through interlocal Bell County Indigent Health to administer indigent health programs for Mills County. And I think this resolution, the need for this resolution came out of a inmate medical bill with a nearby hospital, and having this resolution in place is a proposed prophylactic for the problem. We talk about it there are 2 issues, perhaps. One is for Ms. Jackson to explain the resolution and what this does for the county. If we want to go down into what the underlying situation was, that may have to get addressed by other people that we may have here in the audience. So with that background, let me start with Ms. Jackson. Let's try your mic, and we have you on a screen here. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And so just to kind of review and go over the information and why it's so important to have this on our roles and our records. We did run into a situation with Hendricks Brownwood Hospital. Hendricks took over Brownwood, and so they're owned by a new company or corporation. there was a bill that was sent to us for processing for $7,360. And so that was the full price, where if it was the Medicaid rate, we would have paid only 17% of that. When we reached out to Hendricks, the financial advisor, he was on vacation, and then he took another month off, and then he retired. So now we have a new person on board, but the only communication that we had with him, he didn't want to sign an agreement, and we weren't able to really get into what indigent healthcare is and the payment standard rate, which what we are supposed to pay is the Medicaid or Medicare rate. And so we definitely want to go with the Medicaid rate. With this written resolution, this is something that we devised for Bell County because, as you know, Bell County is housing their inmates out into several different county jails. And so many of the county jails and the hospitals that we're dealing with, we're actually getting billed 100%. So when we send the bills or when we process bills, we forward this inmate healthcare resolution to those hospitals. We also provide it to the jails, because some of the jails, they handle the bill processing. Some of the places, they do it, they outsource it out. And so this makes our life a lot easier. And I believe that it would definitely benefit Mills County. Now, one example about paying full price. If a person stays in the hospital for one day, the full price is $2,100 per day. And so with that Medicaid rate, Mills County would pay $357 for a Medicaid rate, where for Medicare, you can negotiate a rate from 80% to 55%. And so if for some reason we have a provider, sometimes when we work with a private physician, sometimes we have to negotiate with that Medicare rate. And I always go below 55%, I push it, but I think that this would be make our life easier. We won't have to run after a provider agreement because we can't pay without a provider agreement. And then this would cover us to get the lowest rate possible to save county dollars. There any question?
I got a question. This is Commissioner Williams.
Hello.
So we did not have a contract as a provider with Brownwood. Is that because I thought we've taken inmates over there before?
We had a contract with the prior owners, but now that Hendricks took over, we need a new agreement between Mills
Yeah, it
County
changed from
and
Brownwood to where we had an agreement to Hendricks, which did not assume.
It did not transfer over.
No.
right. Yes, sir. Mhm. And so that's what we're working on. I am in touch with the new financial, I'm not sure about her title, but she's like the financial advisor over there. And so I'm waiting for her to give me a call back. And we're going to continue to work on this particular claim. But when I spoke to the secretary, I think we're in a better place. We just didn't have the communication with the young man that we spoke to before because he was retired. I think he was in retirement mode.
What this does, it puts the weight of the court behind Ms. Jackson to say officially, we're not going to pay more than these rates. And then with that, we either can process the bills and its documentation to the medical providers, or it assist her in negotiating a contract. That's my understanding of the process. And this is plagiarized. It's exactly what Bell County does. And as she explained, they work across 7 different county providers in hospital districts. I'd
There
like
you go, Judge.
Do we need to look at other ones or
Well, first of all, this is a blanket resolution.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So
So-
it doesn't just cover one hospital?
No, this is just going on record. Here's what the Commissioner Court says Mills County will pay not more than for inmate care. I'd like to see if our chief deputy has anything, since this relates to inmates. Is there anything, Chris, you would like to add to this conversation?
No, I think this is going to be a good thing because as we know more and more, in fact, we've got an inmate right now that basically the only reason he turned himself in was to get his arm fixed.
Oh, wow.
So we're working on that. So yes, I mean, as y'all probably seen as the bills have come through over the year, these things can get very expensive. So.
Right.
I'll
And
be
so
very-
with that, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah, if you have anything else, say we need to get you up here.
But this would also, if you carried inmates to Hamilton Hospital, we have to deal with them.
That's something I wanted to interject, is that we do have agreements with Hamilton and Coriel. We've just had difficulty getting one with Hendricks.
Yeah, this is a blanket, and it may get superseded if Ms. Jackson negotiates something directly with.
So has this bill been going on a long time, Summer?
It just was presented to my office 2 weeks ago. Was the
She
first
she
time
was talking about for Christmas.
Yeah, I
So it's
believe
longer.
this is-
It's
It
further
did not
back
come to
now.
my office for payment. It hasn't officially come to my office for payment. The only reason why I've seen it is maybe Mary sent it to me from Indigent Health. And so that's all I know about it.
It's my understanding that the underlying incident was like December of 20. Of course.
It was December 16th, 2021, when we received the bill, and the bill was $7,360. But if we went with the Medicaid rate, we would have only paid $956. And so that's what we wanted to go with. But with the communication gap, we were unable to speak to anyone.
Okay, any further discussion?
I think we ought to try it.
Mr. Hale, do you have anything you would like to add?
I think anything limiting would be a good idea.
Okay. Well,
That's the only comment I have.
I make a motion that we accept the resolutions limiting regarding inmate medical payments at this time.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution from Commissioner Williams and a second from Commissioner Guerin. The reason that's important is note on the resolution, there's a blank for who moved and who seconded it, and we all signed. So we'll have to fill that in as we circulate it. So with motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We will
Thank you so
fill that-
much, commissioners and judge. I really appreciate you working with our department. We want to do everything we can to save Mills County dollars and to be able to serve the community.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome to stick around, but we understand if you need to check out.
Yes, I got to go jump on Bell County Commissioners Court docket. So thank you so
Okay.
much. It's
Yeah.
nice speaking to you
Thank you.
again, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Number 6 on the agenda is consider an act on the sheriff's 2021 racial profiling report. This is something we see each year. It's a required report. Chief Deputy, if you don't mind coming up to the mic, I forgot about the remote connection.
It's not on.
There we go.
Yeah, okay. We all have the report. I assume the court's had a chance to look at it. Is there anything you'd like to say in the way of background?
No, like you said, it's a yearly requirement. The state requires us to keep up with, anytime we do any sort of traffic stop, anything like that, we have to keep record of it. But we're not allowed to do verbal warnings and things like that anymore. It has to be a piece of paper attached. And as you can see, reading through it, they've got, quite a few things they want to keep track of. It even goes further in the system as to what percentage of, each one. It's quite the ordeal through the state, but just a requirement that we gather this information and present it to y'all each year. Just a basic overview of the number of traffic stops we've made and the outcomes and things of that nature.
When was this submitted?
Do what?
When was this report submitted?
Week or two ago, yes.
Talking about submitted to,
2021.
okay.
Our records management system produces a report very similar to this, but you have to transfer it into the state's version of it, so it takes a few minutes.
Nothing simple.
Yeah,
Make a motion to accept the 2021 racial profiling report that's submitted to us.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
thank you.
We have a number of items relating to the election, starting with number 7, appointment of an election judge. Let me ask our Chief Election Administrator, Ms. Scott, to speak to this.
Well, I've had some help from Commissioner Williams. The paperwork you have is incorrect. We had agreed, Nancy Blackstock had agreed to be the election judge for precinct 11, and I was notified on Saturday that her husband's been scheduled for surgery on the 28th. And so she was not able to continue with what we agreed upon. And so this morning, Commissioner Williams came up with some other names out in that area, and Mr. Evans, what was his first name?
Keith Evans.
Keith Evans has agreed to be the election judge. So I'll be updating that form and it'll be back on the website. So Keith Evans will be the election judge for precinct number 11.
What was his first name?
Keith,
Keith.
Okay, yeah, and this is on the back side of the page, yeah.
so that was a over the weekend change that I didn't, so I had a chance to update your packets this morning.
She announced it I don't know if y'all remember, she announced it at the public forum or the candidate forum, trying to beg somebody, nobody jumped up, so.
Yeah.
But
That's smart. That's what I was suggesting.
But one thing-
that was the first I heard of it. Boy, I've been trying all weekend to try to find somebody. That's
And the election judge has to live in the precinct?
Yes, I did.
In the
find out-
voting-
In the voting precinct.
I did find out that something like this has happened once before in Mullen area, so that would have been precinct 6. And Carolyn was able to get an exception from the Secretary of State because there was such short notice. And there was someone else that was already trained. So now I know if this happens in the future and emergencies happen, that there is a special exception you can get from the Secretary of State, that they don't have to live there. But I think there's a few hoops to jump through to get that.
So we need to approve
Yeah.
this sheet with the change of Nancy Blackstock and Keith Evans, right?
Yes. So would you make a
Yeah.
motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we approve the appointment of election judges for Mills County 2021, 2022 as presented with the one change of Nancy Blackstock off to Keith Evans.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the joint election agreement. We have a second from Commissioner Parton. And the motion included a change on voting precinct 11 for the judge, instead of Nancy Blackstock, to be Keith Evans. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Then we have also on the election front, consolidation of precincts.
Yeah, was there one before that?
I'm looking, did I skip one? Yeah, a joint election agreement with Gulf Lake School District and Go ahead.
The May 7th is a constitutional amendment election. There's only going to be 2 constitutional amendments, but this is an election that we can combine with a city, school districts. The only school district that has said they are interested in joining at this time that looks like they may be having a race is Consolidated. And there is a chance that that will be canceled, but the deadline to have the agreement in place is February 18th, which is also the filing deadline. And because I didn't think you wanted to have another special commissioners court, we're approving this, but there is a possibility it's going to get canceled.
So, but it'd still be us having that constitutional part.
Right, we still have to have the constitutional election, but Bill Hoyt may not be joining us.
In the constitutional election, is it just local or does it have to go to all the voting precincts? Like,
The next thing on the agenda is the consolidating precincts, and because it's a special election, it only has to have 1 week of early voting.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead.
That's okay. It's,
Okay, so we are proposed to approve the joint election agreement with Goldthwait. We can have it in place. If they choose not to
Right.
need it, that's on them, and we just move ahead.
Was that a motion?
Yeah, I move approval of the joint election agreement between Mills County and Goldthwait Consolidated Independent School District.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now, the notice of a consolidated precinct.
we'll be consolidating the same precincts we did in the last special election, 2 and 4 and 9 and 11. This is a special election that only requires 1 week of early voting. Election day will be on a Saturday, I believe it's May 7th, and early voting is April 25th. I have to look at the calendar, I'll get it wrong. I'll have to get the days for sure. I don't have it on my calendar.
So this doesn't have to do with the primaries. This is the May
May
7th
7th.
constitutional amendment election.
We're on a very tight deadline with elections. We
Yeah.
have 78 days before the election, we have to approve notices and publications. And even though we are just starting the primary today, we're 18th is 78 days in front of the next election. And then there's another joint or a runoff election on May 24th. So you're going to see some stuff coming through for elections that are out a ways.
So is there a motion to consolidate precinct 4 into precinct 2 and voting precincts and voting precinct 11 into precinct 9 in the May 7th constitutional amendment election?
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Guerin. Is there a second? Who seconded that? Okay, Commissioner Wright. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Now, in order of the special election.
This is for the May 7th. This is an order that has to be approved 78 days before the election and has to be posted.
And this reflects the combined voting precincts that we just voted on.
Correct.
I move approval of the order of special election for May 7th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? It was Commissioner Guerin
Okay,
second.
thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Unanimously approved the elections. Number 11, appointment to Mills County Child Welfare Board. Commissioner Williams.
Yes, so the Child Welfare Board, we only have 7 members that are on that board. We've doing with the, I hate to say the word, but with COVID, we've had a hard time having a quorum to meet, so we want to up that a couple. When they voted on this, I was actually out on COVID, so they want to add Ms. Cody McCarnes. Cody is our chief appraiser. And then, didn't write it down, and Ms. Head, Derek Squats, what's her name?
Jessica,
Jessica Head from Center City. onto this board.
So the proposal is to expand the Child Welfare Board and appoint Cody McCarnes and Jessica Head.
Yes, that is
And
correct.
they're willing to serve.
Yes, they're the ones that they actually contacted us, the board, to ask to be on it. We actually had 3 more, so we had a large number of people that wanted to be on it. So we might even consider adding some more a little further down the line, but as of right now, just the 2.
But that'll up it from 7 members to 9.
Yes, sir. Was that a motion, Mike? I'm
I'll
sorry.
make a motion that we appoint Cody and Jessica to the Child Welfare Board.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Guerin. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now declare 2 fuel pumps surplus to be sold at auction.
So we have 2 old gas pumps that haven't been used in about, I don't know, 15 years is what I've been told. They're the old pumps like you used to go down here to Billy Miller's or Sitco or whatever, and they don't work. The pumps are froze up on them and everything. And the fuel, where I get my fuel from, ADCO, she said they would be better if they were a little bit out of her way so she could get up closer to the pumps. And so we moved those, and I would like to declare those as surplus and to be sold at auction.
Surplus?
They're not scrap, since they're not working or anything, just don't fun.
Well, I don't know. Somebody could rebuild them. I don't know.
Well,
Somebody might buy them to put them at a decoration type thing.
so you,
Somebody probably buying for spare parts, Jason.
Yeah.
Those parts for those old pumps are hard to find.
well, if you don't need them in your operation, they're surplus to you. We're taking it to an auction. So that satisfies it. I think I'm good with the surplus designation. Although
If they sell good, Jason, I got 2 I'll put in.
okay, let's do this right. Is there a motion?
I moved that we declare the 2 fuel pumps as surplus to be sold at auction.
We have a motion to
Second.
declare, okay, and a second from Commissioner Parkin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's declared as surplus. Now, scrap, we have 50 maintainer blades. This is
Again,
precinct
this is
4.
precinct 4. This is a 2-year supply of used maintainer blades. And I would, if you take them to the scrap yard, they want proof that they've been from the county and declared. And then since they're tempered metal, they put them in a different stack and stuff. So I wanted to do them individually to get rid of those. We have a whole bunch of them.
By individual, you don't mean 50 separate motions. One.
No.
Okay.
They just, yeah. Just the count. Of 50
Okay.
blades, yeah.
You got
Okay.
luck if he does.
Yeah.
We run through about 20 sets of blades a year. So, I mean, this is
Just in precinct 4.
just in recent.
He's got sandstone down there, so it eats them up quicker than ours.
Yeah, Jed, I think went through 1 last year. So
Yeah.
that shows you the difference in material. But
Okay.
I make a motion that we declare the 50 used maintainer blades as scrap to be sold at metal recycling yard.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Williams, a second from Commissioner Guerin. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 14, consider an act posting bid requests for road materials in bid forms and a conflict form.
So Jed, I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, we need to put out some bids and bid requests for material. If we are going to, if we plan on doing this Mills County infrastructure project of buying material and so here is one that I've written. I hope that y'all had time to read it. If not, we do not have to prove it today. This is one that I have copied I've taken it from several different counties, but mainly Comanche County is where this is off of. So you can see the bid form there, or the bid information page on the front, and then the bid form on the second page. And then they're supposed to accompany any bid sheets with this. The second thing that's on there is the conflict of interest. This is the vendor's part. Some counties have went real in detailed on that conflict of interest, but I just went to the Texas Ethics Commission and printed off their conflict of interest form. That's what McCullough County and Brown County do, but some counties got 4 or 5 pages. We want to know who you're related to and everything else like that. So now, if you commissioners or judge have any other comments to these, I mean, I'd be glad to change or look at any of these that we want to.
I don't have any comments, and I appreciate your, getting us to this point, because it looks like with the shortage of vendors, the amount we're spending with each is increasing, and our auditor has warned us about it. So we do need to get ahead of the process. That being said, just want to caution the court from what I've read around the state recently. Once you go this formal process, you need to abide by it. So if we say bids are due in sealed envelopes to the treasurer, just hypothetically, and a guy walks in and hands you a bid piece of paper or emails you and said, I'll do $10 a yard. It's not a bid. You got to tell them to follow the rules and get it in. So we have to put a little more structure.
So you're saying if they brought me one at my county barn and I brought it into the commission to the treasurer, that's not right.
That's yes. And it needs to be said. I mean, whatever, if our instructions say that, if the instructions say deliver it in sealed envelope to the commissioner, that's fine. But whatever the instructions say, we need to follow, or the losing bidder has an easy shot at a protest that he followed the rules.
Well, these bids will be placed in the paper anyway, will it not?
Yes, it will have to run for 2 weeks. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Summer?
Did he know that notice will be posted
Yeah,
in the paper? So
right.
it shouldn't be bringing to us to start with.
They shouldn't, but you know how people are.
Well, I mean, some of there's one of them that we still haven't got bills from for the last month. So
Yeah.
who knows? So.
Okay, well, I think this is good work. I mean, is there a motion?
Is
there a
this going
discussion?
to be the road and bridge, or this is for all funds that we do for each precinct? How's that working?
I think we need to do it probably overall on material, because if we just do it in road and bridge, say, and then you're buying material and you end up buying from the same guy, it needs to be covered by the bid.
Well, in road and bridge, where you got it listed on doing those jobs, it just takes 3 votes from the commissioners to approve it. This has to be approved by the court. So which one are we going to buy by?
That's 3 votes.
That's
Take the 2 votes.
okay, but that's not what it says in the road and bridge. So
That's 3 votes.
this is by the court.
Here's the thing, I'm just going to use for instance, I think Dale has already used $20,000-$30,000 out of his own budget. Okay, if I use $20,000 and then Jed uses $20,000, that's in our budget. We're over that 50,000 and we use the same one.
The same
The auditor,
vendor.
they're the same vendor. The auditor's saying that is joint. So it doesn't take them separately. It takes them as an added up. So we will be over even if we did that. And so we need to be doing this yearly if we're all going to use the same vendor. So this is a Mills County thing, not a precinct thing. And that's the way you're getting it, Summer? Am I saying that right? Or no?
Correct. It doesn't matter that it should encompass all 4 precincts plus road and bridge. And it's just something that kind of cover our.
Well, in the bid package, it says on the bid package, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. That's what I'm asking. I don't know if we're going to do it by precinct or do it by.
Bid. The auditor says he would have to write us up if, as a county, we go over 50,000 with one vendor. So we're just trying to cover everything.
Okay, should we take out precinct 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, let's just call it road-based material for Mills County, period.
Okay, gotcha, yes. I agree. Then that can be approved by 3 commissioners only, that's what it says.
Well, the other one can too.
That's what I'm saying, it can be approved by 3 commissioners.
Both of them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's been stated, but it spells it out on the road and bridge as 3 commissioners.
Yeah.
So this covers it all now.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. Instead of separating it out 1, 2, 3, or 4, like it says.
So is there a motion? Are we ready to move? I mean, with having to run it for 2 weeks in a row, the sooner we start, the sooner we get done.
I'll make a motion that we put out bids for, or request bids for road material for the entire county
Using these forms.
using these farms.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Parkman to advertise for bids for road material for Mills County using these forms.
I'll say,
And we have a second from Commissioner Karen. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll make these corrections and get them to Jackie.
Okay,
You get some copy so I can follow.
Yes, ma'am.
okay, commissioners, requests and reports. Commissioner Wright?
Of course, we had some ice last week. We got the blade, a little bit of moisture. We bladed County Roads 412, 411, 410. We've been clearing right away on County Road 505. And I had 2 admin days for my employees. That's all I have.
Commissioner Guerin?
like Mike said, we got some moisture, so we graded a whole bunch of roads, 259, 312, 333, 322, 247, 222, 230. So there's a couple more. Saturday a week ago, I had to call Randy and we had to clear the hill on Center City going towards the dairies. They couldn't get their milk trucks and feed trucks in. And we had to move ice and snow and pull one truck out of the ditch and throw some material on the road where those trucks should have traction. So that'll be overtime for Randy. In that aspect, I'd like to mention, they'll call me that he's people in Pretty and said it was on Facebook at 259 that was messed up. That's on account of the moisture we had and a semi hauling hay. Okay. And that was published on Facebook. In my precinct, if you want something done to a road, you better call me because I don't Facebook. And we've been advised by the Texas TAC, Association of Counties, not to use Facebook. And I don't use it. But I will come fix a road if you'll call me. And I'm on, my phone number's in the book, my phone number's on the county website, and the guy with the trouble at Center City called me on the phone. And we got machines down there and fixed it. So I just want to reiterate that not everybody is on Facebook.
I agree with you 100%, Jed. I think it's a good comment for people to know because
I'm telling you, it is a great comment.
I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. Everybody thinks that Facebook, the world turns around Facebook, and I'm sorry, my precinct, it doesn't.
I agree.
Thank you. Commissioner Parton?
That'd be hard to follow. I wish there was no such thing. But same thing, Blattner's did do us a huge favor. They used some reclaimed dirt to top 242, 262, 265. did the best they could with reclaimed dirt. It didn't hold up very well. Because of the ice and snow, we're headed over there this morning to try to cut some ruts out. The reason we didn't do it last week, as of Thursday and Friday, we still had dry spots and ice under the trees. So there was very little we can do, but we're working on that. Do have one hand that I guess will be out through Thursday, had a death in the family. So, and then we'll try to get to May and pick that truck up. So it'll be a full week time it's over with.
Commissioner Williams.
Did some blading with the moisture that we got, bladed 408, 406, 508, 420, and 421. Doing some maintenance on a truck, on the haul truck. It is down and it is now in Abilene, Texas. So yeah, we've done several trips looking at several different pieces of equipment and stuff like that, trying to purchase. Some of the stuff out there just worn out or it's gone before you ever get there. So the only that is it on that report. Judge, before we close, we got this in our packets. It's a distribution summary, but I don't know whose it's from or what it's from.
That is from Mills Central Appraisal District. That's collections for the distribution, means that's tax money they got in the report that shows what they sent to us for the month of January. That's
so we
what
got that other sheet too. So
yeah, there's two of them. Probably one for the county and one for Road and Bridge. It's what I guess I inartfully explained,
okay.
that it's not our usual form. Their usual form cut off before the end of the month. So they sent this one to show the full month's collection. We'll see the usual form next month. Obviously, January is a big tax collection month.
That's all.
Okay. Judge's report. Well, we had a hailstorm last March and here we are in mid-February and we're almost finished repairing from it. The work you see going on around the courthouse is hopefully wrapping up. The replacement copper flashing around the roof. And then there's another lift on site that's starting the final window repair at the courthouse and the jail. So the scramble will be see if we can get it done before the first anniversary and the next hailstorm. Again, we paid the deductible in the prior budget year, so this is all on the insurance company at this point. We had a lot of work over the last 10 days with Blue Bonnet / Castle Gap on the road use agreement for their project out in the Payne Gap area of Mills County that actually goes down and spans the county line. I've been back and forth with comments on the agreement itself. Commissioner Guerin has driven it with them. At this point, we're waiting on a final proposed changes from Blue Bonnet. That'll be on our next Commissioner's Court agenda. Next Monday is a federal holiday. It's President's Day. Usually we turn in our agenda to the Eagle on Monday. That's their publication deadline. So we may be trying to put the agenda to bed a little early. So if you can get anything you've got on it that we can get in by Thursday or Friday of this week would be helpful and appreciated. And I'm meeting, this got postponed over the ice storm. There's a company called AMR, which stands for American Medical Response. They, among other things, provide third-party medical dispatching. So I'm meeting with them later this week. That should turn into a proposal. I've asked Commissioner Park to join me in that since he was in on the original meeting with the Hamilton Hospital and the Sheriff's Office. And we have had a meeting with, or I did, with the Hamilton County Emergency Management on their dispatch center. and have a willingness, but no hard cost yet on their dispatching. So we'll have multiple options at the end of the day. I don't know when the end of the day is, but just wanted to assure the court that we're working on it. And that's all I have.
Have one more thing to add. I wondered if the old copper that they're got in the back of the trailer, is that the property of the county?
Well, it was on the courthouse, but it was in the bids that came in for the roof repair. The scrap value of the copper is included as a credit on the bid. So the maintenance company will sell it and it'll be a credit on the bid. It'll go to salvage. I mean, but it'll reduce our cost or the insurance company's cost.
Hopefully it's still there for somebody.
Well, I look at it each morning and it's still there.
I just can't believe it sat there so long.
Yeah.
It's pretty valuable stuff.
Yeah.
nowadays.
Okay, so that's our agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.